Shalom. Welcome to Passover, Day 1, Pesach. We'll be reading Exodus chapter 12, verses 21 through 51 from the book of Joshua. Three readings. Chapter 3, verses 5 through 7. Chapter 5, verse 2 through chapter 6, verse 1. And then we'll finish off Joshua with chapter 6, verse 27. And then we'll go to the apostles. We'll go with John, chapter 19, verses 31 through chapter 20, verses 1. We'll be in the Scriptures, 2009 version. Exodus chapter 12, verse 21 on page 69. And Moshe called for the elders of Israel, or Jezreel, and said to them, Go out and take lambs for yourselves according to your clans, and slay the Pesach, Passover. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop, and dip it in the blood that is in a basin, and strike the lintel and the two doorposts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out of the door of this house until morning. And Yahweh shall pass on to smite the Mizrahites, Egyptians, and shall see the blood on the lintel and on the two doorposts. And Yahweh shall pass over the door, and not allow the destroyer to come into your houses to smite you. And you shall guard this word as a law for you and your sons forever. And it shall be, when you come to the land which Yahweh gives you, as he has promised, that you shall guard this service. And it shall be, when your children say to you, What does this service mean to you? Then you shall say, It is the Pesach, slaughtering of Yahweh, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Mizraim, when he smote the Mizrahites and delivered our households. And the people bowed their heads and did obedience. And the children of Israel went away and did so as Yahweh had commanded Moshe and Aaron, so they did. And it came to be at midnight that Yahweh struck all the firstborn in the land of Mizraim, from the firstborn of the Pharaoh who sat on his throne to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of livestock. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Mizrahites. And there was a great cry in Mizraim, for there was not a house where there was not a dead one. Then he called for Moshe and Aaron that by night, and said, Arise, go out from the midst of my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go, serve Yahweh as you have said. Take both your flocks and your herds, as you have said, and go, then you shall bless me too. And the Mizrahites were strong on the people, to hasten and send them away out of the land. For they said, We are all dying. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, having their kneading bowls bound in their garments on their shoulders. And the children of Israel had done according to the word of Moshe, and they had asked the Mizrahites objects of gold and silver and garments. And Yahweh gave the people favor in the eyes of the Mizrahites, so they gave them what they asked. And they plundered the Mizrahites. And the children of Israel set out from Ramses to Sukkot, about 600,000 men on foot, besides the little ones. And a mixed multitude went up with them too, also flocks and herds. very much livestock. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they had brought out of Mizraim. For it was not leavened, since they were driven out of Mizraim, and had not been able to delay, nor had they prepared food for themselves. And the sojourn of the children, the strangers of the children of Israel, who lived in Mizraim, were 430 years. And it came to be at the end of the 430 years, on that same day, it came to be that all the divisions of Yahweh went out from the land of Mizraim. It is a night of watches unto Yahweh for bringing them out of the land of Mizraim. This is the night of watches unto Yahweh for all the children of Israel throughout their generations. And Yahweh said to Moshe and Aaron, this is the law of the Pesach. No son of a foreigner is to eat it. But any servant of a man has bought for silver, when you circumcise him, then let him eat it. A settler and a hired servant does not eat of it. It is eaten in one house. You are not to take any of the flesh outside the house, nor are you to break any bone of it. All the congregation of Israel are to perform it. And when the sojourns with you, and shall perform the Pesach to Yahweh, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and perform it, and he shall be a native of the land, but let no uncircumcised eat of it. This is the Torah for the native born, and for the sojourner who sojourns among you. And all the children of Israel did as Yahweh commanded Moshe, so they did. And it came to be on that same day that Yahweh brought the children of Israel out of the land of Mizraim according to their divisions. Move over to Joshua, chapter 3, verse 5 and 7, on page 227. And Joshua said to the people, set yourselves apart, for tomorrow Yahweh is doing wonders in your midst. And Joshua spoke to the priests, saying, take up the ark of the covenant, and pass over before the people. So they took up the ark of the covenant, and went before the people. And Yahweh said to Joshua, this day I begin to make you great before the eyes of all Israel, so that they know that I am with you, as I was with Moshe. 5:2. On page 228, we move to. And at that time Yahweh said to Joshua, make knives of flint for yourself, and circumcise the sons of Israel again the second time. And Joshua made knives of flint for himself, and circumcised the sons of Israel at the hill of foreskins. And this is why Joshua circumcised them. All the people who came out of Mizraim, who were males, all the men of battle, had died in the wilderness on the way, after they had come out of Mizraim. And for the people who came out had been circumcised, but all the people who were born in the wilderness on the way, as they came out of Mizraim, had not been circumcised. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness, till all the nation, the men of battle who came out of Mizraim, were consumed, because they did not obey the voice of Yahweh, to whom Yahweh swore not to show them the land which Yahweh had shown to their fathers that he would give us, a land flowing with milk and honey. And Joshua circumcised their sons, whom he raised up in their place, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not been circumcised on the way. And it came to be, when they had completed circumcising all the nation, that they stayed in their places in the camp until they were all healed. And Yahweh said to Joshua, "Today I have rolled away the reproach of Mizraim for you." So the name of the place is called Gilead to this day. And the children of Israel camped in Gilead and performed the Pesach on the 14th day of the new moon at evening of the desert plains on the desert plains of Jericho. And they ate of the produce of the land, of the morrow after the Pesach, unleavened bread and roasted grain on the same day. And the manna ceased on the day after they had eaten the produce of the land. And the children of Israel no longer had manna, but they ate the food of the land of Canaan that year. And it came to be when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted his eyes and looked and saw a man, capital M, standing opposite him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went to him and said to him, "Are you for us or for our adversaries?" And he said, "No, for I have come as captain of the host of Yahweh." And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did obedience and said to him, "What is my master saying to his servant?" And the captain of the host of Yahweh said to Joshua, "Take off your sandal off your foot, for the place you stand is set apart." And Joshua did so. And chapter 6, verse 1. And Jericho was shut up tight because of the presence of the sons of Israel, none going in and none coming out. Moving on to chapter 6, verse 27, which is the last verse of chapter 6, on page 230. And Yahweh was with Joshua, and a report about him was in all the land. Moving on to John, chapter 19, verse 31 through chapter 20, verse 1. On page 1048. Therefore, since it was the preparation that the body should not remain on the stake on the Sabbath, for that Sabbath was a high day, the Judeans asked Pilate to have their legs broken and that they be taken away. Therefore the soldiers came and broke the legs of the first and of the other who was impaled with him. But when they came to Yeshua and saw that he was already dead, they did not break his legs. But one of the soldiers pierced his side with a spear, and instantly blood and water came out. And he who has seen has witnessed, and as his witness is true, and now he knows that he is speaking the truth in order that you might believe. It's John speaking. For this took place in order for the scripture to be filled. Not one of his bones shall be broken. Psalms 34, verse 20. And again another scripture says, they shall look on him whom they pierced. Ezekiel 12:10. And after this, Joseph of Ramamath, being a taught one of Yeshua, but secretly for fear of the Judeans, asked Pilate that he might take the body of Yeshua. And Pilate gave permission. Therefore he came and took the body of Yeshua. And Nicodemus, who at first came to Yeshua by night, also came, bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100 pounds. And they took the body of Yeshua, and bound it in linen wrappings with the spices, as it was the habit of the Judeans for burial. And at the place where he was impaled there was a garden, and in the garden a fresh tomb in which no one had yet been laid. There then, because of the preparation of the Judean, they laid Yeshua, because the tomb was near. Chapter 20, verse 1. And on day 1 of the week, Mary of Magdala came early to the tomb while it was still dark, and saw that the stone had been removed from the tomb. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible. Talk to the Father.